Hello, Mayuri. Can you hear me? Hi, Mayuri.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we will start the session in next 5 minutes, okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Are you new to the session or you have come before?
No, ma'am, new. From today only I started.
Okay, fine. Can you tell me something about you? Your latest qualification?
Yes, ma'am. Myself, Mayuri Shilar, and I have currently graduated from Medicaps University in BSc CS.
Okay, BSc CS. Okay. You new in Java or you know it already? How about Java?
No, ma'am. I'm beginner in this. That's why I have no idea about Java language.
Okay, fine. Not an issue. Yeah, we'll wait for the others to join and then we'll start. Okay?
Ma'am, I have one doubt. Can you clear that?
Yeah, tell me.
Ma'am, firstly, I have joined that first group. In that, I was having that modules, but I'm not having that one. I mean, from where I have to join in that
I'm not getting your point.
for
Are you
that
talking
modules?
about the LMS?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, can you talk about this to Shubham sir? He'll let you know about it. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, okay.
And also, you need to make sure that your camera is on while talking to me. Okay. Let even others come online, and then you can make yourself comfortable. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
Hello, ma'am. Abhinav here. Ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Ma'am, I had a few doubts. The assignments which you gave in Java regarding the mall management system, pizza delivery, and employee management. I tried doing them, but while trying to create the file in Eclipse ID environment, it's facing few issues. Can you help me?
Yeah, sure. Share me your screen.
Sure. Just now. Employee management.
Okay. What is the problem?
How shall I go about it? I mean, uh, as what I understood, जितना मुझे समझ में आया कि हमें एक ऐसा प्रोग्राम एप्लीकेशन बनानी है जावा की जिसके थ्रू ये पता चल जाए कि किसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में कितने नंबर ऑफ एम्प्लॉयज हैं, उनकी सैलरी कितनी है, उसके बाद किस डिपार्टमेंट में है, और बेसिक इंफॉर्मेशन फ्रंट ऑपरेशन क्रिएट एंड अपडेट टाइप, राइट? दिस इज व्हाट वी आर एक्सपेक्टिंग इन दिस असाइनमेंट.
So you have done already. So this is your assignment thing, right? Oh, you have not done anything.
No, no, I have no,
You need to identify. So if you are creating an employee management system for
yeah.
your system, okay, let's say it is your system. How are you going to manage it? How are you going to handle it?
I mean, let's say what I need to do is here is I need to After giving the date, and then what should I do next?
Okay, you're asking for how to create a class.
Yeah.
Right click on source, SRC. Right click,
Yeah.
new, new,
Yeah.
class.
Okay.
ओके अगर आप ये छोटी छोटी चीजों में अटकते हो ना, तो आपकी जो भी क्वेरी ना यूट्यूब पे डायरेक्टली डालो,
Okay.
आपको उसका भी मिलेगा आउटपुट, आपको उसका भी सोल्यूशन मिलेगा. ओके,
What shall I name it?
whatever you want to name it,
Employee.
name it.
Okay. Now, yeah, step by step. Now I should. Now the next step should be to.
I won't be showing you how to do this project. It is something that you will have to come up with. Okay,
Ma'am, I
I have
tried. That's
got
why.
the session to do other tasks. Yeah,
Okay.
I had shown how to go ahead with this. Yes,
Can you please guide
I'll
once?
come back to this topic. Don't worry.
Okay.
Till then, you just search online how to work with it.
Okay.
I'll let you know how you're going to work along with this thing. Okay, stop sharing. So guys, today, if you guys remember, we had already started with a database, right? We had seen some of the
Yes,
concepts
ma'am.
of database. We have seen where JDBC comes into picture. Now we will have to
Yes, ma'am.
understand all the database concepts that you would require to have the beginner, I would rather say, to understand all the required things for the interview. You need not know everything, but all the required things, all the things which you need for your system, for building up your project, you'll get to know about all those things today. Okay? Before that, I would also like to tell you that you are going to start working on a project from now. Okay? I will be giving you the project scenario. I will be giving you everything required, you every guidance required for you to understand and do your project. So whatever you have done so far, just keep it aside. The task which I have given you, you just have to make sure that you are also completing that. Okay. Meanwhile, we are going to give you the introduction for the project that you are supposed to work with. Am I clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, if we
Yes.
falter in between,
ma'am.
please guide.
Please talk loudly. I cannot understand what are you saying.
I am saying if we falter in between, please guide. Please be ready to guide.
If
We falter in between. अगर हम कहीं अटके बीच में, आप guide कर दीजिएगा.
see, it is a it is something that goes as per my job role in this company. You don't have to tell me
Sure,
that
sure.
I whether I have to do a thing or not.
I'm
But
just requesting.
I won't code. The deal is I won't code. I will guide you. I will give you all the websites that you require, all the references that you require if you are stuck.
Sure. Thank
Yeah, I'm
you.
not going to code.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So let's start. So I am sharing my whole screen. We will pick up from the point where we left. So these are the topics which we covered. Now we also have to see how query is supposed to be executed for the same. Now here you see there are some steps to be followed. Okay, steps to connect to the database. Okay, steps to connect to the database. Okay, database. What we are supposed to do inside a program in Java code. First of all, I need to open the connection. Okay, I would say load the driver. Okay, as in I need to specify which database I'm working with and a specific URL and pattern, URL and everything are supposed to be put in. Like you're going to give in the URL, you're going to give in the username. Okay, you are going to enter the password required. to get connected with the database. You get the point? The second
Yes,
thing
ma'am.
is you need to create the connection. Create and open the connection. Yes? Once the
Yes, ma'am.
connection is open, connection is basically is going to be a resource will be a thread will be allocated to it, wherein this particular connection which has been established, or the path which has been established, is supposed to perform the tasks which we are going to do from our program to the database. So it is nothing but a path, or it is a connectivity which is going to help us to perform tasks on database whenever a Java program is intended to do so. Okay, let's say we go for the third one. We created and open the connection. Later we need to execute, create and execute query. Execute the query. So for this, again, I'll let you know what all things you need. It is also required that you close the connection. Close the connection and all the other resources utilized for the same. Okay, once everything is done, you're going to end up your task. Yes. Now, these are the basic 4 steps. So wherever you go, you are going to find a basic difference between each one of them, that how they're supposed to be performed or what all things are required at each of these tasks. So when I say, I will give you some Java programs, some Java lines, which you will understand. Okay, let's say, for example, for loading the driver. So I, first of all, make use of a class, sorry, class.forName. Okay. Now this class.forName is the thing wherein we specify our URL. Okay, so it's not URL, but it is my JDBC thing. So JDBC :mysql / localhost. Okay, or you can specify the URL. So whenever you install or whenever you are going to work with any of the database servers, it is supposed to occupy a port number. Okay, the port number which is occupied by MySQL is 3306. Okay, so you need to specify that. Now, after that, you need to work along, or you need to specify your a database name. So my database name here is going to be whatever I'm specifying. Okay, let's say, for example, my database name here is Millionlights. Yes, because I'm working with that. And mind you guys, everything in database is not case sensitive. It is not case sensitive. You don't have to worry about it. Okay. Now, once you have done this, once you have you have specified the driver and everything, you have to give the URL and password. So you are going to go ahead with get connection. Okay, this get connection method is going to accept 3 values into it. The first one is the URL, wherein you specify which database are you connecting with. Okay, so this URL, I'll let you know where to fetch in this. The second one is username. So for in my case, it is root. And then there is again for me, I'm giving the password. Okay, so these are the 2 statements required for performing the task of loading and registering the driver. Let's make it this way: registering and loading the driver. Yes, this is how you load it, and this is how you register it, and now you need to load it. Okay.
Ma'am, what is mean by URL, ma'am?
URL is I'll give you the exact thing. Okay. I'll show
Okay,
it to you how you have to come up with this one. Okay, don't worry about it. I'll show
okay,
it.
ma'am.
Okay, JDBC :mysql. Okay, this is I actually mixed 2 things. Okay, just a minute. The URL is supposed to come here. And MySQL driver. Okay. com.jdbc.mysql.drivers. If you're working with version 8 of MySQL, then you also have to specify .cj. Okay, this is how it works. Here you need to specify JDBC. I'm so sorry. JDBC colon MySQL, okay, colon / localhost, and so URL is nothing but uh, your URL of the database. Where am I supposed to find for this database that I wish to connect to? Because using a single program, I can only connect to a single database. As per this connection, I can only connect to one single database. So here I need to specify that this is to go inside the connection. So connection con is equal to driver manager dot get connection. This is how you write it. Understood? Yes. Now, this is actually for opening connection, so I can just make it this way. Creating an opening connection. Okay, registering and loading the driver. So these two statements can be merged together. Now, the next thing is to create the query. Sorry. The next thing is to create the query. So if I don't have to format my query, I have to go for simple queries of SQL. Then I make use of statements. Okay. Statement is an interface. Okay. Statement is equal to, then I can on con, I'm going to perform the statement. So dot execute. Okay. Execute query. Maybe this is what I have with me. So here I can make use of the query like select start from EMP. Maybe the name of my table is EMP. This is how I'm going to write it. Maybe if I'm having a where clause, or maybe there are some inputs to be taken, or I have to format this query which I have. Let's say I want to say select the employee, select start from employees, where the employee ID is equal to so and so value. That value is going to come from an external source. So I can go for the other statement, which is prepared statement. Okay. Now this prepared statement, I can just write PS is equal to con dot execute query. Okay. And then I can specify here, let's say I'll say select star from EMP, where, okay, EMP ID. Let's say this is again some of the column which I have, and I'm going to specify a semicolon, a question mark. Okay, I'll explain you everything. Don't worry. This is just a gist that is going to help you see how things work. Okay. So now the next thing which you have here is I need to now specify what this question mark is supposed to resemble. So I'll say PS dot set parameters. Okay. In this, I'm going to specify the first step. This thing that I have is supposed to take in the value from some XYZ location. Okay. Let's say this is going to be some ID is equal to 101. Okay. I'm specifying that, or maybe there's a variable which holds the value. So I'm going to specify that ID variable in here to get in the value for the system. Once I have created the query, the next thing is to execute it. The execution can be done by using either execute query. This is for select query. I can go for the other one, which is execute update. Yes, this is one of the other thing. And the last one that you can go for is execute. Okay, these are the three methods which you use. The execute thing and execute query thing is used for simple queries that we have. But if I'm performing the task of inserting and updating, or basically anything which manipulates my data, then I make use of this one. Understood? Yes. And then once I'm done, I'll be getting some value. So if the query that I'm executing is returning me a value, then I can make use of the statement result set. Okay, result set. What is a result set, guys? Result set. What is it?
Don't know, ma'am.
It is an interface which is going to fetch the value if select query is ever called to return a value from the database. Okay. If I don't make sense, don't worry. This is just for your understanding to segregate each and every code. Okay, just relax. And then for closing the connection, you can directly close it, or once the task is done, it is going to be closed automatically. Okay, so these are the simple things that you need to do. So now we before we actually start executing everything and performing the task, first of all, let's create a table into the database. Okay, so you can find the link for MySQL online anywhere and you can just download. So what I'll be doing in here, once you install MySQL, you'll get some few interfaces that you can work with. You can work with command line or the client which you have. Here you just need to put on the password that you have put during the installation of your system. Okay. Then you specify here, let's say, for example, I want to create a database. So there are few queries that you need to make sure that you are writing it. So let me just show you the queries that is going to help you. Create new text file. So these are going to be my query. I'm just going to make sure. So first of all, I need to create the database. So how do you create a database? You write the query, create database, and let's say my database name is Millionlights. I need to execute this. So the same thing needs to be seen in here. But before doing that, let's make sure what kind of things I have with my system. So I can make use of the command called as use, or let's say show databases. So these are the databases which are present with me already. I just have to make sure that the ones which I need can be used in for my system. Okay, let's say, for example, here I'm going to make use of ML. So let's create one ML. How are you going to do this? Let's say I say create a database ML. Okay, the database has been created. Let's see. You can see in here the database is created. Now, once the database is created, I need to use it. So I'll say use ML. Okay, so now after doing this, whatever query I'm going to write will be specifically executed or fired on this particular database. It is specific to this database. Okay, so now let's create tables. So I will be writing create table and all those things. Let's not do this. Let's go for a simpler mean. Okay, I don't want to use command line. I want to actually work with an IDE. I can also do that, right? Let's see how can we do that. I am opening up my SQL workbench. So if you're installing MySQL 8, you'll be getting an opportunity to download everything that you need, all the interfaces that you require to connect with the database. Okay, so this is the thing which I get. So I just need to fill in the password as required, otherwise it is going to go in directly. Okay, I had that query already. I can push it went up. Never mind. So you can see here the database which I just created. You can see the number of tables, the views, the procedures, and everything. We don't have anything so far. We have to create them. We need to work with them. So we need to start with tables. So I will start with tables. Let's say, for example, I am going to go ahead with create tables. Okay, I can do it here one way. Let's not do this. I want you to actually see or have a taste of how to write a query. So first of all, let's see this. We are going to create a new query here. How are we going to do that? This is the query, or this is the place where you are supposed to work your, okay, single line name. I always forget the notion for command single line. I think it was this. So I am going to write to create a table. Okay, I wish to create a table. So let's see how this is supposed to work. I'm going to save this on the desktop and we'll be sharing you the same. So let's say, for example, here, we would try to execute a simple bank application. Let's do that today. Yeah, we will try to replicate very simple bank application. Okay, so this is bank query. Okay, so what all things do we need for a bank? There are many things. We need to identify them. Let's start with identifying the thing. So how are we supposed to deal with all these things? Let's say, for example, I am opening up a PowerPoint presentation. Okay. So I don't know what bank application has. I'm not having any core idea of the banking applications. I don't know what are the functionalities to be performed in here. I need to understand those things first, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start searching for one. Let's say I start searching for bank management system, something like this. Project in Java using MySQL or something like this. So I am going to go for some images that is going to make some sense to me. Okay. So here they are saying that processes, or let's say there is one process for login. Yeah. Simple process for logging in into the system. Okay, I can perform. First of all, there's a bank which contains name, code, and address. Then there's a branch containing all these things. So then we have loan, we have account. So I think this particular ER diagram of bank gives me enough information of the things which I would require. Yes, what is this? This is an ER diagram, or it is an entity relationship diagram, which makes a lot of sense if you wish to understand how a particular system works. Search for these things. Understand?
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
I'm sharing
Yes,
this into
ma'am.
the chat. Just check for this one. Okay. An ER diagram. So now let's try to replicate the same thing inside my database. Okay. Banking application. This is what I'm working with, right? So let's say, for example, here, I need not need this because I get everything already. So let's go for the basic stuff here. So first of all, what do I need? I need to download this. Okay. So let's start. So what it is saying, so everything that you see, before you actually go ahead with creating a database, you just make sure that you have got this ER prepared for yourself. This ER stands for entity relationship, wherein these are your entities. The one in the rectangular blocks are called as entity, and the ones which are in this kite symbol or the diamond blocks are called as relationship. Hence, this is called as an entity relationship diagram. How to read this particular thing? So for each of these entities, you can see these ellipses. They are nothing but the fields or the column names. Okay, if you have to interpret this thing into your system, these are the things which you would require. Okay, now what I'm saying here, that a bank has branch. A bank can have many a bank can have many branches, or one branch can have so it is a one-to-one relationship. Yes. Now this branch has one offer. Okay, branch offers loan. Okay, now this loan, one branch can offer a lot of loans, so it is one-to-n relationship. It is wrong in here. It is one-to-n this side. One bank can have a lot of branches, right? One bank and everything, or maybe say one branch is going to have one-to-one relationship. Okay, next, if you see in here, this loan has got loan ID, type and amount that I'm going to fill in. Then loan is availed by customer. So many customers can go for one customer can go for many type of loans from the particular bank, right? I can go for personal loan, I can go for a retail loan, or any kind of loans that I would require for my system. Whereas a customer account is holded by, or I have to read from upside down. So an account is held by a customer. It's not hold. Yeah, you can just this has to be any verb that can fit in. Okay, grammar verb. So you can say here an account. Many account can be hold by a single customer. I can have a savings account. I can have a current account. Okay, I can have a PPF account. So I can have a lot of account types in here. Likewise, the bank can maintain different accounts. One bank can have many accounts. Understood? And then so these are all the things which you would require. Now you need to identify where are these primary key, foreign keys supposed to come up. Okay, so to identify these in much simpler fashion, you can also one very good software which you can use. I don't remember the name. I think it is ED Draw or something. ED Draw. ER Draw. ERD. ERD plus, I suppose. Okay. Yeah. So you can log in with this. You can create your own and then work along. Let's say it was going to help you to work in a very better fashion. Let's say, for example, I log in with this system. Let's say we sign up first. You just give your basic information. This is Neha. And then the ID that I can use is Neha.chess, Neha at million, Neha at ML, at the rate gmail.com. Just pass in some password so that you can log in. Now, this is for you to come up with a way to create all the other stuff required for your system. Okay. So now once you get this, you will be having this system anytime to be used. Okay. But maybe after some point of time, it is not very much applicable. So I need to replicate the same thing into my system, into my database in here. Yes. So how am I going to do that? So let's say, for example, I need a bank. Okay. Guys, no, don't worry. I'm just giving you a shorter process to work with this. Okay. Let's create a new document, a new folder. I have got this thing already. Let's go for a new diagram. Okay, it is an ER diagram. So I'll just name this as bank app. And let's create one. Okay. Now let's create all the other things which we need. What do we need? We need things like, yeah, we have it. Okay. Let's say I need entity. So these blocks are called as entities. So I can just pick one. Okay, I can say what type of entity it is. I'll say this is bank. Okay, this is bank. A regular entity, that's okay. Now let's add attributes. Okay, how many attributes are there in this? 1, 2, 3. 1, and the first one is maybe say name. I'll just go make this side by side so that I can get this in. Come on. Okay, so the first one that I need is name or ID. So bank ID is required. So I'll say bank ID. It is the primary key. Bank ID. And this is going to be unique. Okay, then I can add entry, add another attribute. I can name this as bank name. Again, add another attribute. This is going to be bank code or bank ID, which I have given already. The next is the address that we need to fill in. Yes, and that's okay. So this is what I have. I have got bank ID or code, bank name, and address. So this underline specifies that it is a unique thing. Okay, so one thing done. Let's go for the other one. So the next entity which I have is a branch. Okay, let's name this as branch. And this branch thing is supposed to have attributes. A regular entity, it is supposed to have a branch ID. Okay, it is supposed to have branch ID, then again another attribute, which is a name, then one more with the address. Yes, so this has to be unique. Okay, now I need to put in a relationship between them. Yes, so how to do that? So let's go for relationship. I put it in here and just say this has. Okay, and I'm saying this is to get connected. So let's connect this to this and connect this to this. Yeah. So now my two things are connected. Two of my entities are connected. The first thing is done. Okay. Now I say that a bank has got different branches. I want to say this, right? So this particular thing, if you see here, bank is mandatory. Okay, it is one to many relation. Okay, one branch can have many branches. It cannot be optional. Many a times it is not. The second entity, I can say one branch cannot have different branches. Okay, it's not possible. So this is one to many relationship that I can specify. Okay. So once this is done, what I can do is I can convert this thing into my required. So I'm not going to show everything. Just looking for specific knowledge about it. Hey, mute yourself. Okay. So now I need to convert this. First of all, let's go back. Okay. Let's go to the document. You'll find your diagram. And now here you can just convert this into a relational diagram. So let's say this is going to be same folder. Okay, so you can see the schema here. These are the two things which we have, right? So these are the two banks that you can use. Now, you can also convert this into different form. Let's say, for example, documents, and I can, this relational schema, I can convert this into for generating queries. Now you can see these queries are generated automatically. That is the reason why I have asked you to create it before you actually come in this. Understood? So now I just have to copy this query and execute in my database and it will work. Yeah, I just have to execute this. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, people. Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so now the similar thing can be done for all the other stuff. I'm not going to go for all the things. I'm just going to show you for basic stuff. I'm not showing any primary key, foreign key relationship. I'm just going to work only with two tables. You have got more than that. Okay, how many tables do you have here? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tables. Okay, and you need to identify who is supposed to inherit what or who is supposed to have what kind of relationship with each other. Try to replicate this at your end. You'll understand what I mean. Okay. So this diagram which I'm referring to, or the tool which I'm using, is ERD Plus. A wonderful diagram created to help you out with working of the systems. Yes, use it if you're working with database. Okay, so now next thing, let's close this. Now what I need to do is I'm simply going to use this. Now let's make a few changes which I want you to say, which I want you to see what exactly this is all about. let's say, if I have to create a query, okay, if I have to work with a particular database, I need to make sure that few things are maintained, few rules are maintained. Okay, I want to create a table, so I need to put some constants into my table. Okay, so constants plays a very important role into my database. So how am I going to work? So there are at least 4 to 5 constants that SQL or MySQL supports. Okay, let's say the first one which you have is not null. You can find it everywhere. Do you see this not null constant?
Yes,
This
ma'am.
means it is not allowed you
It
to
is
have
not containing null value.
a value
It will not
for
allow.
your columns. Yes. The next
Yes,
thing
ma'am.
which you have here is, let's say, keys. There are various types of keys, but here we are specifically talking about primary key and foreign key.
Foreign key.
Yes, primary key and foreign key. So the next thing is, what do you have next? Then there's one called as default, which means that you can keep a default value. The other thing which you have is a check constant, which helps you to check your table or check your column to have a specific condition to be met. The next thing, am I missing anything?
No,
Is
ma'am.
incrementing the value automatically, which is called as auto increment. Yes, and yeah, that's it. Maybe there's one more that you can put in, that is unique. Yeah, let's say,
Yes,
how will I put this into my system? So for this one, I can specify a primary key. So instead of having a code, I'll say bank code. Let's be more specific. Okay. Instead of having name, I can have bank name. Instead of having address, I can say bank address. Let's be more specific here, guys. The name. So how do you go? You write, this is the syntax of creating a table. What will happen? I'll let you know. So you will write create table bank. Then there are column fields, let's say bank code int dot null. And I want it to be primary key. I can specify it here as a separate constant, or I can do it here as well. Not null and primary key. Yes. Then there's bank name, which is supposed to be of type string, or let's say varchar. Varchar is the data type corresponding to string. Here I need to specify the size, so I'm saying the size is 20. Address, again, it cannot be integer. I need to specify it to be a variable character. Yes. So I am saying it to be of size 50. Yes. Understood?
yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
now what all things can I have? The bank name, of course, it is going to be unique. I cannot have the same name again, so I can say unique. Okay, then the next thing, default. I cannot give the default name. Maybe I can give some address, or that's it, right? This will work for now. All the other yes, in primary key, I can also have one more, which is auto increment. Yes. Now let's try executing this. First of all, we need to change to our database. I need to write the same thing here. So I'll say use Millionlights. Selected, executed. Now, whatever I'm going to do is supposed to be executing into this particular database. So I have not executed it. You can see the table is empty. Now let's execute. And you can see the table has been created successfully. I just have to refresh. And I can see that the database table is inserted into my database with these as the columns. Understood? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Now let's try to add
Yes, ma'am.
branch. Okay. Let's try to add branch. How will do that? I am going to say branch ID or branch. Let's make it this way. Branch ID, branch name. Okay, then there's branch address. Okay, this has to be primary key. I can have it this way. I can also specify auto increment. I can have branch name, not null, and unique is not required. Branch address is also okay. Maybe I can say the branch address. If it is not given anything, then I want it to have a default value. Let's say Mumbai. This is what I wanted to specify. If nothing is given as the default value. Yes. And now I want to say that this particular branch belongs to this bank. So I need to put a foreign key as well. So I can specify. I can also have one more thing, that is bank ID int. Okay, for this is comma, and then I can say bank ID foreign key FOREIGNK. Yeah, so I have to just take this out. Okay, comma, foreign key, bank ID, references, uh, references, bank, what it is supposed to refer to, bank code. I can give such a relationship. So now here comes my foreign. I'm not using check right now because it is not required for me. Okay, so now let's try to execute the code. Branch address. Oh, forgot to change this. Okay, now let's try to execute, and it is done. Now let's see whether I can see this particular table created or not. Refresh all, and I can see both my bank and my branch table. Understood?
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Okay, so now once this is created, now I can fire all the queries that I want. I can insert all the data that I want. Okay, now let's do this. Instead of doing this, we are going to use my same IDE to connect with my database. Why do I need to jump in here? Why do you think it is a feasible option? I don't think it is feasible. Instead of doing that, what I can do is, I'm just saving this, okay, into my source. Okay, this is your query. Japan query. And then I'll say, okay, now I need to see the database thing here itself. I don't want to use this. Let's say I'm just closing this one. I don't want to use MySQL Workbench. So there's one more option in my IDE itself, which is called as database development. Okay, this is going to give me the interface required to perform the SQL queries. So I just open this, and here my perspective is changing, and now it will be changed to database. Okay, so now you can see the interface has changed now. There is a database connection that I need to maintain. So let's go ahead with this. You need to make sure that you install MySQL connector jar for your system. Okay, so assuming that you have already downloaded, or if you don't have it, I will give you here itself. So how do you work? You just have to go to the database connection, go for new. Okay, pass in. So which database I wish to connect to? MySQL. Let's go for the next. And then I need to go through drivers, which I don't have any. Let's give a driver name here. I need to connect to the latest version of MySQL. Hence, I'm going to choose for the latest one as well, which is this. Okay, and I will have to change the jar. The jar is uh, outdated, so I need to add the jar which I have for my MySQL database. Okay, so I'll just go for this and would be searching for the jar which I have somewhere. Let's say data software Java jars MySQL. Okay, this is my MySQL connector jar. I'll also give this to you guys here. Okay, now you do this, you say okay. So the error is gone. Now you can see automatically the URL is created. Yeah, I did not do anything. The URL is created automatically. The only thing is now you need to fill in the database name. So database name is ML, right? Everything is done automatically, right? The username is always root. You can change it. And the password is whatever you put in during the time of installation. You can save the password and test. And if the ping is successful, that means the database has been successfully integrated with your IDE. Okay, you just have to go for next. And this is everything that you need to have for your database connectivity. You can simply go for a finish. And here you go. Understood? Now what is happening? Now the same thing that you were able to see in your MySQL workbench, now you can see for your environment as well. You can create your table here. Right click, or you can just have some SQL query and then execute it. Yes? Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so now you can have an SQL file specifically to perform this task. Let's say, for example, I'm creating an SQL file. I'll just name this as SQL queries, something like this. And then I can specify where it is supposed to execute. It is this. So I just need to go to the name that I've specified. The database name is ML, and I just have to do a finish. So now, whatever I do will be executed on this. I can simply write the query, select start from, what is it, bank, and I get to see everything about this. The selected, do a right click and execute selected text. You can see the output here, the result. Do you see here down? Yes? Don't you think this IDE is a better option instead of having different options to do the same thing? Different softwares to install for the same thing. Okay, so this is one of the option. Otherwise, you can just integrate with the XYZ thing that we're working with. Are we good here?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
people. Great. So guys, first of all, so this is everything that I want you to tell before I move ahead for anything else. I want you all to get a heads up that tomorrow you'll be having module 1 mock interview. Sorry, not module 1, module 1, 2, and 3 mock interview. Is that clear?
Ma'am, I guess that's on 16th. Tomorrow's 15th.
I want to take one tomorrow as well.
Okay.
Just to see just to check how much you have prepared. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Are we good?
Yes. And ma'am, I
Okay.
needed your help in the assignment. Will you please guide me?
Please talk loudly. Please switch on your camera.
I'm saying I want your help in the assignment, the employee management system. Can you help me?
Did you see what I just did? I gave you an example how to work with the project.
Yeah, I saw.
It is the same thing that you need to do with your system.
Okay, I'll try. I'll get back to you tomorrow.
By the end of the session, you'll be having a better idea for the same. Don't worry.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll take a break here for 10 minutes. Okay. We'll be back. Okay, so let's continue, people. Okay. I am sharing my screen again. Okay, so this is how you can work, and this is how you can directly work with your database. This is one of the ways. Now let's try to actually work with by actually performing the crude operations. Okay, let's see how we work with that, how we actually create the database. So we have seen how database table needs to be created. Now we need to see how these queries are supposed to be, how these statements are supposed to fit in into your system. Okay, now let's try to execute. So now in this module 4, I am trying to add up the database, right? Click new. So first of all, I am going to create a package. Let's say, for example, this is for package. I am saying I am performing a bank management system, right? So I'm saying bank. Okay. So this is one package created already. This I'm going to add up a new class. Okay, now in this bank itself, I have got one more. I need to specify the POJO. POJO is nothing but your plain old Java object, your entity class, which is supposed to be replicated into Java. Let's say, for example, here, the two entities which I have, the first one is bank, okay, in the POJO or entity. If you want to call this as entity instead of POJO, even that is fine. Let me just rename. So I'll call this as entity. Entity is nothing but the database table representation. Any entity. Okay. Now let's do a right click and add the other thing which we had. The other entity which I had for my system was bank. The other thing was branch. So I'm going to put in that branch. Yes, and finish. Once these two things are in place, now I need to just replicate those queries in here, right? So what were the queries? The queries of create table. So these were the columns used. So I'm going to try to have the same name here. Try to use the same name here for bank. Okay, let's say, for example, for bank, I need to make use of bank ID. Other things, not necessary. Okay, just need to make sure that the data types are same. Okay, this is where you just need to understand that they are not supposed to be off track. Okay. So first of all, if it is in code, it has to be of integer type. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing, it has to be private because now I need to save my data because my data is coming all the way from an external resource from my database where this data is of really very important for me. Yes, it is of type string. There we used varchar, right? Here again, private. Here I'm going to make use of string again. There it was varchar. Now what am I going to do? Creating a simple POJO class. So go to source, generate your constructor from the superclass, generate your constructor from the fields. That means your uh, parameterized constructor. Okay, just make sure that you're adding this parameterized constructor in one more format, wherein bank code is not used. Because bank code is auto increments, you need not require to add in this value. Understood? So you can ignore this one. So you are overloading constructor. Here comes one of the implementation. Okay. The next thing is you need to add up the getters and setters. Here you go and add all the getters and setters required. So select all and generate. Also make sure that you override toString method to see what kind of data is that particular thing holding at that instance. This is your data. This is your POJO, this is your entity, and this is how you're going to work with your system. Okay. Now you need to work with branch. The things that you need for branch is again there into your system. That means into what query that you had created. Okay, let's copy. We'll paste it here. Okay, so bank ID was int. Okay, so we just need to specify that, right? So we say int branch ID. Other things I can ignore. This was varchar, right? So I just need to specify string value for it. Yes, again, this is varchar, so it has to go with string. Yes, this is int again. And all of them are private. Okay. And here you go. Okay, this is 2int. That is the reason why it is showing me an error. Okay, so I just need to make sure that people make sure that you're connecting with proper names. So again, the same thing. You need to have the simple constructor, the constructor from the superclass, so the constructor from the fields. Okay, one without branch ID. Okay, and the other one with branch ID. Yes, all the getters and setters required for your system. And of course, the toString method. Save it. And here is your Kojo ready. Now you can replicate your data into the database. Understood? Yes. Now I need to create an interface which is going to help me to have all the tasks which I want to perform into my database for the database. Okay, so let's say I'm creating a new package here. I'll name this as service, or I'll just name this as DAO, data access object. Okay, so in this one, I am creating an interface. Okay, let's name this as bank DAO. And what kind of methods I wish to add in here. Let's say, for example, I wish to perform the task of adding banks. Yes, I need to have delete bank. Okay, maybe I want to perform some more operation like update and delete. So basic, all the crude operations. So let's say this creating is nothing but C of the crude, R retrieving all the bank details. Okay, R is for all banks, are U. U is for update, right? U for updating bank detail. And the last one is delete. So you need to have proper methods for each one of them. Let's create all the method signature. So you can just change the signature as per your understanding. For now, I'll just make it for public. I'm adding some input. So let's say it has to give me an integer value saying that the record has been inserted successfully. So I'll say int has to be done. Int is the return type and the name is add bank. And I'm adding the bank details. So I will also have to add this Kojo or entity into my system, something like this. Understood? Similarly, I want to retrieve all bank details. So I'll say public void and then show banks. Okay. Then I want to update. So I'll say public int whether the update has happened. For that, I need to put some integer value. So I'll say update bank details. Okay. And I am passing on the bank value, bank object again. Yes. For deleting, let's say public. I need to delete delete bank details. So I just pass in the object value again and it will work for me. Yeah. Very simple code. Understood what I'm doing here? Yes, people. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now let's try to implement them. How are you going to do that? I'm going to create a class which is going to contain the code for the implementation of these methods. So here I have named this as bang DAO IMPL. Okay. Now I need to add the interfaces. So the interface name that I need to check in for is bang DAO. Let's do an okay and let's finish this. If I do this, all the bank methods which I had in my DAO will be automatically implemented. I just need to add all the required code for it. Clear with this? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, before we actually try to implement Oracle, try to actually implement the database, we will add one more class separate from this to have all the database connection into my project. So let's say I'm creating a class here. Inside the DAO itself, there is a connection package, which will have the connection. So I'll say DB connection. Okay, database connection, or I'll say bank connection, the name. Okay, and con is invalid because connection. Yeah, this will work and finish. What is required to be done in here? I need to just create a constructor maybe, and that is going to do the task. It is going to help me, or maybe say I can have one a get con method or a connection method or bank con method to get the connection. Yes. Now this has to have a return type of some type. I'll let you know. For me, right now it is of type public and it is returning me connection. What is connection? Connection is an interface which is present in SQL, right? So I just need to check where it is. It isn't here. So I'll just have to do an enter. Yes. And you can see it is coming automatically. I just have to add it here. Again, I just have to say, let's say connection is equal to null, and then it has to be retrieved from here. So I just have to say return connection. Okay. I'm doing the coding, still it is not done. Let's say, what are all the other things which we need? We need to put everything inside try and catch block. Okay. Maybe I can put, instead of putting it here, let me just put it here. Okay. And catch. Now here I can be more specific, specifying what kind of connection can be, exception should be thrown in. I'll say exception dot print stack trace. Understood? Now I just have to add the required thing. No catch block. Why? Wants to directly go with this. Okay, fine. Let's see. So I have a class, first thing first, class dot for name. Here, I need to specify the driver name and everything. So now you can get all the driver names whatever you have from your system. So whichever database you're working with, you need to get the driver. So let's say JDBC drivers and URL. You can just have a look and check what kind of things you require. Okay, so if you're working with Oracle, you need com.oracle.database.jdbc. Okay, if you're working with, this is Oracle again. Let's say if you're working with the MySQL, then the driver which you need is, where is it? It is not mentioned in here. com.mysql.jdbc. JDBC mysql.loadbalance. See this one, JDBC MySQL. Okay. So if you're working with SQL Server, we'll have to go for com.microsoft.sql server. Okay, this is what you need to put in your class.for name. Understood? So I am putting this com.mysql dot jdbc dot driver. Yes, semicolon. Now this is going to ask me to surround it with try and catch block. Now it will work. Okay, because there are chances that I might not get the driver required for my system. Yes. So now the next thing, class not found. Okay. Next thing that I need to put in, once the driver has been set up, what is the next thing which we have? Once the driver is registered, I need to create the connection object. So this is how am I going to work with this? So I can just pick up the connection which I had already here. The connection object which I have created here. I can say connection is equal to driver manager dot get connection, and I can specify the three things. First of all is the URL. I'm not sure what is the URL. I know the username, which is root for me, okay, and the password, okay, which is again root. But I'm not sure about the URL. I don't remember it. So what I can do is I can go to the database development, okay, do a right click onto your system, go for properties, and here inside your driver property, you can find the thing which you need. This is the exact URL which you require. Just copy it and paste it at this location. This is what you need. Yes? Understood? So now once the connection is set, now you need to execute the query. For now, I don't have to do that. That's it for me. Okay? This is only sending me the connection. So if I have to do any modification, if I have to change my database, now only this file needs to be changed and everything will remain the same. If I create a separate file, it helps me to go for any database of my choice. I just have to make changes in here and everything is going to work as it is. Yes, except for some syntactical difference, you will have to maintain. Okay, so here I'm just putting a simple statement saying that bank DB connection has started, something like this. ED or invoked or whatever you want, it is just going to give you a state. Now let's call this thing here. Now what am I going to do for adding this? I need to add in the value. That means I need to get the 3 values or 2 to 3 things for the bank. Okay, let's just change it to this perspective. Now what I need to do for bank? So I need to get the branch code will come automatically. I just need to get 2 values, that is bank name and a bank address, right? So inside my bank IMPL, I just have to add these 2 details, right? This has to come from the system. So let's say, for example, now to call this particular thing. So before this is called, I will be creating one more package which will actually perform the task. Okay, let's say, for example, I'm creating a class here. And here I'll call this as main, and we'll be calling this as a function or maybe something bank function. Okay, this is having public static void main into it. Okay, And here I am creating scanner first of all. I need scanner to perform the task to take the input from the user is equal to new scanner. And this is system.in. So I am creating a method for bank function. Let's say if the function is called, I'm creating a function to add bank details, something like this. So I will say void add bank. Okay. Now this method is supposed to call the bank down. Okay. Before that, let's play in here. Let's add in the values. So I'll say welcome to our portal. Okay. Next, I'm saying please select the bank. Please select the bank operation of your choice. Okay. And then I am going to accept that inside the choice variable. Now say is equal to scanner. And let's take it here instead of taking it there. Okay. Because I cannot have a non-static static method to have non-static variables. So I'll say scanner dot nextInt. Okay, and now I'm going to have a switch case. Yes, so I'll say switch case statement. The key is choice. Yes, so if the value is 1, it is supposed to call add bank method. Okay, let's instantiate the object here itself. Let's create a static. Maybe this will work. Okay, add bank. So now I'm going to call this add bank method. And what I need to do here is simply, let's say the second choice which I have is I'm creating a static method, static void delete. Okay, delete bank. Okay, so I'll say if the choice entered is 2. So I just need to specify that in here. So \n. One is to add bank. Second one is to delete bank. For now, I'm just keeping 2 options. You can just elaborate up to your understanding. Okay, the second statement is case 2 is equal to delete bank. So this is how you need to implement whatever you have learned so far. Hence, it is required for you to be good in all the other things, all the basic languages in Core or basics of Core Java. Okay, and default, you can just say invalid input. There you go. And now we simply have to, now we simply have to perform the task. So inside this, I am going to, let's say, put up a scanner. I will have to do it again is equal to new scanner. System.in. Okay, and I will have to accept the 2 values. So I'll say enter. What are the 2 things which I need to accept for bank? It is a bank name and bank address. Okay, so I'll say enter bank name and address. Yes, so I'll just place that into my bank. So I'm going to create a bank object. Okay, and I'll say bank is equal to new bank. And now using the same constructor, I can fit in the value. So what is the value which I have? The first one, both of them are strings, right? So I can say Next. Okay. Or I can say, so let's make it this way first. This will be very confusing. So I can say bank dot set bank name, and I'll say scanner dot next. Yes. Again, I can go for bank dot set address, scanner dot next. Yes, these two values, we got these values. I just need to call the IMPL now. So I'm going to create an object of bank. Where is the IMPL? Bank thou IMPL implementation. And we'll be instantiating. Can I do that? No. I will have to do everything in here. So I'll say is equal to new bank IMPL and just call the method dot add bank. The bank value I have it already. Okay, I need challega. So let's do it here. IMPL dot add. Yes. So now this is going to give me some integer. So I need to take this inside the integer as per the statement, and I will say if a result is greater than 1, then I say so statement bank detail inserted successfully. Yes. Otherwise, you can give an else saying that cannot insert or cannot add. Okay, so now this is the overlying functionality. Now let's see what exactly you need to do in bank IMPL. So now in this one, you need to actually write down the insert code to add the details of the bank. So now this particular thing is going to call this particular add bank function is going to call the IMPL method. If you open the declaration, it is opening this. It is going to hold the bank details into it. Now I just need to use it here. So what I'm going to do here is, let's say I need to insert. So first of all, I need to get the connection object first. So I'm going to create the connection here. I'll say connection con is equal to null for now. And then let's use that connection con. So I will be using the same connection object which I have. So my statement here is I have to go for prepared statement, right? Prepared statement is equal to con dot prepare statement. And now here I need to put up the query. So here again, one more thing needs to be created, which is your query, which is null for the beginning. But since I'm working with insert, I need to have a proper query for the same. So here the query will be is equal to insert into. Where do I need to insert into my bank table? What are the fields which I need to fill in? It is bank. So you can just make sure the names are the same. Okay, the name which you have inserted into your database. Okay, these were the names. Yes, Pragya. Bank query. Okay, these were the name, bank code, and bank name and bank address. So you just have to make sure that you're not making any mistake in there. So you will say bank name, comma, bank address, brackets, values, and there are going to be two values, okay, which the user is going to fill in. So I'm going to have two question marks, which we are going to put in later. Now here in this query, I'm going to fill in the query that I have written above, which needs to be executed. Now everything needs to be surrounded inside your try and catch block, considering that this may or may not get executed properly, just to handle it. Okay, so now this is done. I need to now execute the statement. Before that, I need to give the statement a proper parameter. So I will say get parameter or get string. So these are the strings, right? So I need to get the string string. The first string value is bank dot get name, right? Yes. What is this? This is inside the bank, right? When I'm calling it, I'm putting it all the value. So the next one, it's not yet, it is set. Sorry. The next thing is statement. What I'm doing here, I'm adding the question mark, values for the question mark. The first one is for bank name. The second one is for bank address. That is what I'm doing. Dot set string. This is the second one, and the parameter here is bank dot set address. Get address. I'm so sorry. Bank dot get address. Yes. Once this is done, this is to be executed. This is going to perform an update operation. Hence, I need to do a statement dot execute update. This will return me an integer value. Hence, I need to give this to a result thing, and I will return R. Yes. Otherwise, you return 0. We good with this? Yeah. Understood?
Yes,
Let's
ma'am.
try to execute. Okay, let's open the bank function and let's try to execute this thing. So add what I want. I want to add the detail. Enter the bank name. I am putting this as ABC Bank. Okay, the address. The address is, let's say, MP. Okay, null pointer exception. Now let's try to understand what this is. So it is saying there has been exception which has been encountered in Java line number 22. Let's see, where is it? It is this. IMPL dot add bank. So this bank is not holding any value for now. Okay, why so? Let's see that too. And then this 47. That means the call which has started. Okay, I did not, because there was nothing. So whenever I'm calling add bank, it is calling the static method. Because it is static, it is not holding the value required. Let's just make it non-static. Okay. Let's make it public and non-static. Okay, so what I need to do here, I need to create an object of this class. Okay, so I'll say new bank function dot add bank. Add functions dot add bank. Okay, so now this is supposed to call and this is supposed to work normally. Let's execute again. Okay, add bank value, let's say A, and the address is some address. Now again, exception on line number 20. Where is it? Option 22. What is the mistake? Okay, so for that reason, let's try to see what is happening. Okay, so and then it's and in the back. That's the issue here. Yeah, this is fine. It is holding some value. Saying IMPL dot add bank, adding a bank here. So, Line number 21. It's this. Is it this? I did not initialize this connection. That is equal to in in is the name of the connection object is bank connection dot anchor. Right, this is to go inside. Let's keep it null for now. So I just need to create bank connection object. Bank connection is equal to new connection. And then I just have to call it here. So con is equal to bank connection dot bank con. Let's throw this into the exception. Let this handle everything. Okay. So if you throw, you have to throw it everywhere. That's the deal. One more. Okay, so now this is supposed to work. Now bank has got some input to it. Let's execute it again. One, this is A and then this is B. Okay, so the problem is with the driver is not found. So the problem that you need to face or you just need to do correction here, because I'm working with this, I need to do this, CJ. One thing. And the second one is again the null pointer exception. Let's say try executing the thing. You don't have to make mistake. That's the whole point. com.mysql.cj.jdbc com.jdbc.mysql.write or something like this. I must be missing something. MySQL. Com dot cursor dot mysql.jdbccj. This is the driver which we need. Okay, this is what we need to put into our connection. Now, yes, there can be one error, and the error is I did not add the jar. You need to build the jar. So right click on this and then go to build path and add or use add external archives. And from this, I'm adding my skill jar connected. I hope it should be working. This is that. Okay, let's execute. So the address, bank connection, there's error in line number 9. I did correct it, right? This is the root cause. This is what I need to sort out. Class.for name from what master 30. Okay, so I've used the same thing. It is the same. Is the problem. Except for this driver name recap. Let's see. So last try, and then we'll do it later. Okay. Yeah, done. DB connection has started. And now cannot add. Let's see what is the problem. It has gone for an else path. Okay, let's first check our databases, whether it has actually not inserted into the database. Okay, let's refresh the SQL query which I had. I can open that too. Just open this. And then the table, right click, data. No. Where is the SQL? Open the SQL, go to this, try to execute the statement. Right click, execute selected text. And yes, it has inserted successfully. Now the problem is with my if else statement. Okay. So what I need to do here is I just need to correct it. Where in my function? Okay, because I said if result is greater, if one is greater, okay, this is supposed to be my output, then I say bank detail inserted successfully. Okay, let's do it again. The last one. Okay, so I am adding the bank details. I'm giving the name as ABC Bank and the address as Mumbai. And the connection started and cannot add. But if I see it is added into my system, why? Yeah, it is getting added. Greater than 0. HDBC Bank. I have created a new one and the address is Dubai. Bank detail inserted successfully. The problem was with the if else condition. I just made it. Okay. And now if you check your database, you can see the same thing. Let's try executing. This detail or the new detail needs to be added. Okay. Right click and execute all. We can see everything has been added. Understood? You can see the values are getting added automatically. I did not do anything. Understood, people? Yes? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so
Yes,
always
ma'am.
make errors to sort it out and always try to understand what you're working with.
Okay.
Okay, and that's it from my end. Okay, I'm not going to share you this code now because I want you to work on your code and come up with your own logic and develop it. Okay, I did everything on my own. Okay, I am also going to share you one project scenario because you guys need to work on that. Start working on that. Okay. This is the end project that you need to create. On the chat window, make sure that you see this. Okay, so now you can just go ahead with this. Please download it and start working on this one as well. Okay, slowly and gradually, you'll have a better understanding for the same. Okay, so people, that's it from my end. Make sure that you practice it and just let me know if you need anything. Okay,
Ma'am, I wanted to talk to you one-on-one.
what do you wish to talk?
The assignment submissions regarding that. If I'll attend tomorrow them as well. If I falter anywhere, I'll
Then, unless and until you don't create anything, I will not be having any kind of discussion.
sure.
Okay. Okay. So let's stop here and make sure the person call as 236, 455 and 3508. Make sure that you put in your proper name. Okay. That's it, people. Bye all.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Good night.
Thank you, ma'am.